Well, hello there. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Jon Binnie. I'm your professional spiritual psychic mentor here in Scotland. And I'm here today with your predictions, your channel messages from the earth, from the sun, the moon, my spirit guides, the Galactic Federation, Archangels, and many more. Help you on your life and spiritual journey. Okay, I have my trusty dog Patch with me now. He's in the perfect position. He's just over to the side, so I don't have to straddle across and watch where I'm standing. Well, I always have to watch where I'm standing. Okay, so let us get into some of the incredible things that are going on in the world at this time. And I'd just like to say, well done. Well done. You're doing an amazing job. I know that this is a really tough experience for many of us around the earth at this time. And I feel it so strongly in the collective energy. All of us have a connection to the collective consciousness and the hearts of humanity. And these are turbulent times. And I've definitely felt it myself. And so before we share any more details and channel messages and predictions and answering your questions, let's go ahead and create a safe space so that you're nice and comfortable and safe and protected, and so am I, and that everything that I channel in through me and that you receive is clear and pure and ethical and with as much clarity as we can bring in at this time for your highest good. Okay, so please join me as we create a safe space. And to do so, let's take a deep breath in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out what no longer serves our highest good, nice and loud. Breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any fear, shame, anxiety, or pain, nice and loud. And breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any remaining low vibration energy that no longer serves you, nice and loud. And continue to breathe deeply and calmly as it feels right for you. And focus your attention on the very center of your heart, where your golden divine spark of your soul enters your human form. And from the center of your heart, extend a cord of light up through the top of your head and reach up into the sky and up into the stars, all the way up through the highest frequencies and dimensions of this universe, until you reach the highest dimension of the source of love of this universe. And there, connect in your light cord into the highest dimension of source. Feeling into that oneness, unity, and unconditional love. Remain connected into source and extend your light cord down to the stars and sky, back down to the top of your head and into your heart once more. And now from the center of your heart this time, extend the cord of light downwards, down through the base of your spine and all the way down through the layers of the planet, going deeper and deeper until you reach the very core of Mother Earth. And there, connecting your light cord into Mother Gaia's crystalline heart. And we send Mother Gaia so much love at this time. Allow her to send her love back. Remain connected into Gaia's heart. And extend your light cord all the way up, the core and mantle and crust, and up to the surface and up through the base of your spine and back up into your heart. And please allow your heart to gently soften and open, and to allow yourself to gently relax as you now create a safe space around you by expanding out a golden bubble of protective light from the center of your heart, using your own light blended with the source of love and Mother Gaia below to expand out around 2 meters out to each side, above and below, in front and behind you. And set the intention for this protective bubble that only energies and entities with your permission, with your highest good love and compassion can see you, access you, or exist in this space or within you, and that all other energies and entities must leave immediately. Into your safe space, invite in your spirit guides, your higher self, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source, and Gaia, and ask for their guidance, clearing, healing, protection, and assistance with integration of today's messages. And now, through space and time, I create a golden protective bubble around all of us engaging with this video across space and time. And I set the intention for this session space that only energies and entities with our permission, with our highest good love and compassion of all, can see us, access us, or exist in this space or within us, and that all other energies and entities must leave immediately. I invite in my spirit guides, my higher self, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source and Gaia, Sol and Luna. And I set the intention today to support all of you who are attracted to and engage with this video, who have the highest good love and compassion in your hearts, to support you with messages, predictions, with any practices and healings that will support you on your journey over the coming days, weeks, and months. And so with that, I'd like us to get started. Now, I would love to start. It's been a couple of videos since we started with a channeled message from Mother Gaia. And I'm just bringing up on my laptop below that you can't see the 8 years of predictions ahead that I've previously done. And it just helps me give some conscious reference points because my memory is quantum. It's like all memory all at the same time and none at the same time. Okay, so let me ask Mother Gaia for any messages for us at this time. So as it connects down to Mother Gaia, she shares at this time acknowledgement of the progress that we're making as a human race. She's drawing our attention to the truths revealed or on the verge of being revealed through the Epstein files. And all that she's showing me this big cloud of emotions. So these heavy, deeper colors, like some reds, almost all the way down to brown energy. And she's saying this is the collective energy building. So our collective consciousness of all of us is starting to feel some of that anger and rage much more palpable. Before it was suppressed, and we were suppressing it deep into the earth itself. We were pushing it down in ourselves and we're pushing it deep into the earth. And it's time for it to continue to release. And she says also for the children that were released in, that were rescued in Florida, the 122 children. She's saying, she's saying, my little children, my little babies, she wants nothing but the best for all of us. And we must go through this. We must go through this purging and releasing of this energy. And Mother Gaia says she's very aware of what's being pushed out in the news, how our truths are becoming politicized. And she says, there's this, she's showing me this undercurrent. So there's a constant rising up of energy, regardless of what's reported, what happens to individuals. Something much bigger than any of us individually is the collective energy of our collective consciousness, this anger that's releasing upwards into rage. Okay. And she says, it's funny because it's usually us asking Mother Gaia, we're asking, what's coming up for us in weather, in geological events, from storms to volcanoes to earthquakes. And she said, what is it? She's asking us, humanity, what is it of humanity that we want? What is it that we want to do with this energy that we're busy building up and releasing? She says it's important for us all to keep this in our hearts, this conscious awareness, whilst releasing this energy. Mother Gaia said she's here to serve us. She's here to serve and help protect and to help support life, to nurture life and cultivate. And she says, through the coming weeks, months, and years, humanity is being asked this question: what do we want? What do we want? Do we want to release and purge this low vibration hatred and anger and rage? Because it can't be stuck. It will destroy us, this energy, if we just keep it stuck within us. It, trapped within our own bodies, it fills us with disease and a wide range of different health conditions. Both my ears are ringing really loud now. And then on the outside of us, it can be released and seen and shared and felt. And this is how we begin the healing journey into forgiveness eventually, and then into releasing the energy. And our choices, Mother Gaia is talking about, is, do we choose love? Do we choose fear? And she's showing me fear with us separated, each of us individually separated, and then in love together, in unity, in a field of unity. So there is huge times ahead of us. And I was asking Mother Gaia about some of the timelines there that I previously predicted. So there's, if I'm totally honest, for example, about slavery and abuse, especially directed at children, those predictions that I was doing August, September, like, they were deeply uncomfortable to share. And it's not, big parts of me never wanted those to come true. And I didn't really want to ask about those because they seem so big and so powerful. And yet I still have those same emotions. And one of you very kindly, commented and said, "Oh, were you aware of the news in Florida about the 122 children?" And it's Gaia saying it is sadly also the tip of the iceberg. So let us try and face these challenges, these uncomfortable truths within all of us, because we all play our part. Even the very systems that we've created, the governments that we've voted in or allowed to remain in power, the companies that we pay, the silence when we don't speak up, and when we ignore, and when we push things to the side and we say that's not possible, or that those people, those beings that perpetrate this abuse against others, they're nothing like me. They're not part of my human race. And yet Gaia's calling us to really become more and more aware of our collective consciousness. So how it feels. So I don't know about you, it feels so different over the last 2 weeks in particular. And then it's intensified since around, over the last couple of days in particular. So do expect more of this. And we can come on to some practices about how to discern your own energy from the collective, and also even how to kind of separate yourself from the collective for a little while and come back in. These are powerful changes that we're going through. Thank you, Gaia. So what's coming up over the coming weeks? And for the Epstein files, it is remember behind the actions of the releasing of those files, Guy is showing me like a little, almost like we're seeing a little cork, bobbing on the water down by the shore of the sea. And then this huge wave of emotion, this anger, rage, desire for justice rising up behind it. And it's pushing this little bobble like up to the shoreline. And yet by the time it gets to the shoreline, it turns out it's not a little cork bobbing around in the water. It's not even a little bit of ice. It's an entire iceberg. And so if anything, we need more focus and more energy and awareness around what's happening without, I've experienced this myself, without being dragged into it too much, right? We can end up wallowing and become addicted to it. Is an addictive emotion, this fear and anger and rage. So if you are finding yourself drawn into these things constantly, then perhaps, schedule a little bit of time in your week to come out of it. In your meditation practice, time in nature, listening to some music, taking a long bath, just really disconnecting from technology and taking a break and then coming back into it. And then through into, a lot of you have been asking about the days of darkness. It still feels, we still have the predicted by the end of November, there was the prediction of this kind of blip of a few hours to a day of an outage. And I remember when I first started giving updates on this that it wasn't that cold here in Scotland, and now it's freezing. It is 0 degrees Celsius or below. And yeah, just reminding us all as it gets colder, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, to keep focusing on keeping warm and just having reasonable provisions. And then December is the predicted 3 days of darkness by the end of December. Now, all these things, I would say you could kind of trend a kind of weight of energy behind these. So if we remember the days of darkness, some of the purpose behind it coming when I spoke with Sol, the soul of the sun, is that there's this powerful reawakening and this ask for us to come back to our hearts and come back to the earth. And so it's very much a collaboration, this event of 3 days of darkness between the sun, the earth, and ourselves. And it may be Mother Gaia saying to me that if the 3 days of darkness wasn't to happen, it would likely be because we were pushing enough on this parallel stream of truth being released, that we were starting to wake ourselves up to our collective consciousness and become more and more aware of what's going on around our whole planet. And that this will go some way to either slowing down, delaying, or stopping the 3 days of darkness. Thank you, Gaia. If you heard anything about the prediction of the Penfield, Illinois UFO crash, predicted between the 9th and 16th of November, please do let me know. I've not heard anything. And then into next year, so this was really where Gaia wanted to lead me to, is to start to get us familiar with some of our very human emotions. And when I constantly refer to the term human, I don't mean it as negative or positive, right? We just are. We're just a human race, okay? So there was ET contact in Q1 predicted. And what I heard from on Wednesday when I was speaking to the trees here in the local woods in Scotland, that they use this term I've never heard before, and I love it so much. They called it micro contact. So this is contact with each of us individually, not governments, not organizations, each of us individually, each of us forming our own relationships. And the song that I've written today, I was just busy dancing away to it, was called, well, I haven't actually named it yet, but it's all about keeping your eyes on the skies with an open heart. So this is a beautiful way, do listen to the song and get some ideas about how you could start to build your own relationships if you're interested in doing so, if you choose to do so, with what's happening in our skies. And if I'm feeling extra content creative today, I will also share some of my Aurora Psionics, Aurora Pro night vision camera footage, which I've been busy filming over the last few days, because it's definitely intensified in our skies. A lot more moving objects, shooting stars, and more to share. And then into Q2. So Q2 is April, May, June. There's this split of 5D and 3D accelerating. And it feels like, and I'd love to get some other beings' input on this as well. It feels like, for the first time in my awareness, the collective consciousness is a part of this as well. So imagine, as being shown, the planet. I'm going to start talking about onions. So that the planet at the center, and then this collective consciousness, almost like a cloud around the outside of our planet. And this is the aura of the human race. Now, it's not just humans that live on planet Earth, yet we are very dominant, right? Because there's billions of us. And we seem to be, causing the most significant changes on Earth as a species. So it's bringing awareness to, happy, high vibration collective consciousness, if you like, starts to push out and up above and out of this fear-based collective consciousness. So this is for the first time I'm seeing it, not just as us individually, not just the planet, also the collective consciousness of humanity, splitting up into third and fifth dimensions. And this continued theme in Q3, which is July, August, September, purging and trials. So the truth theme that we're experiencing just now feels like it continues on into next year. And that by the end of the summer, in the Northern Hemisphere, we'll start to see trials. We'll start to see our justice systems trying their best to cope, or, our existing systems trying our best to address what will be, by then, and even more of the iceberg released. And we also start to get, towards the end of next year is really where people start to get much more of a conscious feeling about the split between the third and fifth dimension, and deciding, how do they get there? Do they want to get there? What do they want to do, stepping through the third, fourth, and fifth dimensions? So these out of fear, low vibration fear, and up into high vibration joy and gratitude and unity. And in 2027 is when we start to, humanity's really stepping into this kind of like epiphany, even in the low vibration, in the third dimension of Earth, and our lower vibration fear-based choices that we're making emotionally. We realize that so much of what exists today, right now, the systems of control, world leaders, or global organizations, CEOs, that it is a fundamentally broken approach to humanity. And so those foundations are rocked. We need to really face the rebuilding, the creation of a new world together. So if you kind of feel into that end of this year all the way through 2026 and into 2027, so right now compared to early 2027, we go through this huge transformation. The iceberg of truth revealed, like the whole thing. And then our collective consciousness over the top of that, we're not just in our minds, right? We're starting to feel it more and more. Do you feel this shift? Do you feel this fear rising, this anger rising up? It is palpable, certainly to me. And in this releasing of the energy, a lot of us will experience emotions of, that person deserves this punishment. And then when we realize, when we reflect a bit on our own justice systems and our punishment systems, we realize, oh, actually, that doesn't feel enough to me. And some people, there'll be deals done. Some people, all this happens today, right? I don't need to educate you on the truth of what's happening. But really, the transition of 2026 is what I felt personally back in around, I don't know, maybe something like 2010, like around that time frame, where for years I'd immersed myself in conspiracy, UFOs, aliens, and I just started to realize that this world was actually really very broken, and it's on a downward spiral, fueled by greed, fueled by control, and the 1%, the elite, the cabal, the Illuminati, whatever names you want to give to those that own 99% of the whole planet's wealth, the 1% that own 99% of the wealth of the planet, that they control or used to control this planet, and that they were on this greed mission, and that actually all we've done is managed to, some of us consciously, most of us unconsciously, create a prison for ourselves, a slavery, a systems of slavery. We've enslaved ourselves. Everything from salaries to our focus on materialism, playing to our fear and greed, the separation from each other. Like all these things are disempowering us. And so 2026 is really, for many of us, is the rest of the world catching up and saying, it turns out this wasn't as good as I thought it was, or the hope that I had that things would get better, or perhaps the next world leader or the next political party or the next change that would come in, or if someone listened to my personal opinions, some of these things would improve, that actually none of that was enough. It's not all hope is lost, right? But what we will experience and what we are beginning to experience right now is this realization of like, oh no, the way this world is going now, it's already broken, and we can't just put sticking plasters on it, Band-Aids. We can't just polish a poo. We have to really face this poo of what we've created and say, you know what? This needs forgiven. Well, we need truth, right? We need justice. And then we need to go on a journey of our own and our collective forgiveness and apologizing to ourselves and to each other around the world about what a mess we've left ourselves in. And that you and I, we're all responsible for helping clean this up and to help release it and learn these lessons. Okay. This is all very powerful. I feel like I'm making a speech to the world. Fun fact on a slightly lighter note. I was having this lovely dream last night of being aboard a Galactic Federation ship. So it was a lucid dream. And it looked a little bit like an iPad. I don't think it was an actual iPad, but a little tablet on a desk. And I was kind of swiping through it, and it was Earth's internet. So I was up in a ship orbiting Earth, and I was swiping through it, and I stood there chatting with one of my spirit guides. And I was saying, oh, are my songs in here? And I was like typing in, and it's like, yeah, you can access songs. It's all public, right? So really public data, the internet, for example, public internet data outside of Earth is visible. They do watch videos. So even though I don't know if their views turn up, if they have like a Google account or not, or quite how it works, it does feel that all of this data, because actually it's quite small amounts of data compared to many of our extraterrestrial, our galactic brothers and sisters, data storage systems. So they really don't mind about taking like a daily copy of the entire internet. So I love like the ability of like swiping through it and getting, looking down and seeing yourself. It was quite funny because the guide I was with was saying, John, look at all the stuff you create. You create so much, like over 7,000 videos in the last 8 years, although my channel's been running for 19 years. I didn't create that many, maybe 100 or something in the first few years. So yeah, really powerful and exciting times. Let's ask a little bit about, perhaps my spirit guide Maya would like to teach us some practices about connecting into the collective consciousness of Earth and then of humanity, and then also disconnecting. Let's get some water. Okay. So let's ask, thank you, Mother Gaia. Thank you for your guidance. She was giving me so many prompts through that share. So my spirit guide Maya, thank you, Maya. I'm just asking if she'd like to channel through me directly using my voice. She says briefly, yes. Dear souls, you're all part of a universal collective. You are all part of a global collective. Your consciousness overlaps with each other. Every single living thing, not just humanity. Remember that all the living things, the plants and the animals and the insects and the fish and the sea creatures, every living thing also interacts with and overlaps in consciousness, energy with every human being and its collective. There is great benefit for this overlapping of consciousness because, for example, in forests and woodlands, the trees connect with each other. They feel each other and help each other, work with each other. And they also hold unity with each other, their hearts connected, golden light flowing from each heart of each living thing, and not just the trees, every living thing in the forests and woodlands. So welcome to the forest of Earth. And yes, there are many deserts and oceans and areas where there are not trees. But I introduce this concept to you that you are all really all connected, whether you choose to be or not. It is simply because your consciousness of humanity overlaps within the same frequency range as other humans. And these powerful times invite you to spend time acknowledging your fear and your anger and your frustration and your rage. Please do connect with this energy in your heart. Allow it to release. Imagine that thick, black, dark energy in the bottom of your heart. And just take a moment now to gently allow your heart to release it. Acknowledging its darkness. Acknowledging and seeing it for what it is, and say, I see you. I also feel you. I'm sorry you've had to exist. I thank you. I love you. I forgive and release you, and allow that energy now to go down from your heart, down through your solar plexus, down through your sacral chakra, down through your root chakra, the base of your spine, and to gently flow into earth. Mother Gaia asks you to release your anger and rage into her. Her body, the earth, is designed as the energy seeps through the crust and eventually makes its way down to the upper mantle. This is where the fires that rage and burn deep beneath the surface of the earth, where the magma churns and transmutes this energy, releases it from physical form and allows that energy to be dissipated, to be released out to the surface of the earth, gently out through the atmosphere in low volumes, and in larger volumes released through tectonic plate activity, earthquakes and tremors, volcanoes and storms, and more. You are not fueling the disasters and events of this earth. When you release directly into the earth, this is how Mother Gaia helps transmute the energy, helping convert it from pure suppressed anger into the action of anger, rage, taking action, the motion of land, of water, of air, of fire, the elements working together to release the energy out from the earth. This is the purge that you are contributing to, not the destruction of humanity or the earth. It is not the problem that you are releasing into earth. The problem is that not enough of you are. And when it all gets too much, when you're feeling the heavy weight of the collective on your shoulders, almost like you're carrying the weight of humanity upon you, please take a moment and take a load off by simply placing your hand on your heart and saying, "Heart, I disconnect from the collective for the next 2 hours or until tomorrow or whatever time frame you choose," knowing that you don't really have a choice but to gradually reconnect, for this is the true universal nature of your overlapping consciousness. So whilst you can set your intention to separate, you're just very gradually brought back in. And know that it is around 20% of your consciousness that contributes to the collective. And there is around 10 to 30%, depending on individuals and the variance of all of humanity. And when you wake up in the morning and you check in with your heart, placing your hand on your heart and saying, "Heart, how do you feel today?" Ask another question. Heart, how does the collective of humanity feel today? And yes, you can feel its fear when you ask this question. So please acknowledge these differences. Acknowledge your feeling. Acknowledge your overlapping feelings and connections with humanity. She's just stepping out to me. Thank you, Maya. Wow. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. It feels like I have so many questions. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of activity in our skies, and there's this feeling that a lot of these, when I psychically communicate with these objects, these orbs moving in the sky, and I tend to, you'll see in my skywatching videos, my psychic skywatching videos, I tend to try and keep the evidence kind of open-ended, open to interpretation. Because who am I to claim what an object is or isn't? And you can ask me, you can ask my opinion. John can give you an answer. However, each object, each experience, each individual glimpse of magic that happens, we can just allow it to be. Even our language that we use has constriction around it. Even the stories we tell about our experiences, our UFO, UAP, extraterrestrial experiences, when we bring them into words, it does constrict some of what we've experienced. And so just allowing the experiences and the evidence to be shared, first of all, and then starting a conversation about it, I feel is really, really helpful. I'd encourage you to do the same. What I film in the Scottish skies they're not unique to me, for sure. I know that for a fact. And they're not unique to Scotland. This is happening all over the world. And hence why my song is all about looking to the skies with a nice open heart. Okay, let's ask some of your questions. Well, I do mean that, ask some of your questions. We can ask my spirit guides, Galactic Federation, Sol, and Luna. Let's make some beep bop sounds and ask away. Beep bop, beep bop. Hang on, get it right. There we go. I've got the screen right. Here's your questions. Beep bop, beep bop, beep bop, beep bop, beep. Okay, so here is Louise Gamanchi, and she's saying, Three-Eye Atlas. So what is the purpose, or is there none other than a wandering ship coming into our solar system? It's now more than half the size of the sun, and Stefan, must be Stefan Burns, said, picking up plasma or life force, will it bring codes, healing, and or will it affect the Earth's orbit? I didn't hear the question of its purpose answered, only the various folk that see it in different ways. Wonderful. Now, this was asked 2 months ago, so since then, since the 4th of October, it's got a lot closer, right? And more has been revealed. I saw a glimpse. I absolutely love Stefan Burns. I don't really like to watch his videos at length because they consciously influence me, or John at least. So I like to keep my mind even more open, and his is already very open. His heart too. So yeah, I did see the NASA picture, which is so funny. What was Stefan saying? Is like, after the billions and billions of dollars that are spent, and you get this kind of blurry image with a wee dots, and it's like, wow, just fantastic, guys. I'm glad all that taxpayer money is going to good use. Okay, so let's ask the question. So already I was consciously asking myself, who will answer this question? And my spirit guide, Marita, the Manta's guide, my impression of her, she's laughing, like doing a dance. Wonderful. Okay, so she would like to come forward and answer. So let's ask about the purpose of Three-Eye Atlas. It's interesting. She's tracing it. Reminds me of like one of Stefan's videos. Like she's tracing the trajectory of Three-Eye Atlas through our solar system. And she says the purpose of Three-Eye Atlas is to help come into to come as close as safely, reasonably possible to Earth, to help trigger awakenings. And she was showing me like this is the outer aura of Mother Gaia. So it's not that far off the same size of our Earth's atmosphere. I know that it goes out really far. I'm sure there's quite recent discoveries that it goes even farther than we realized. And she's saying Three-Eye Atlas had to come close enough to help be in the energy of Earth. So imagine, where, when you see my videos, you quite often see these little orbs and stuff flying around in these videos. And yet I'm in an airtight an airtight, soundproof music studio. So it's just so unlikely for things to fly around. And she's showing me like that, when we see orbs come close to us, it draws our conscious attention to it, like, oh, what is this orb that's flying around? And then it creates an emotional reaction in us. And she's saying this was the purpose of 3i Atlas. Its purpose is to help trigger awakenings. And it's about the energy of it. And I love, I'd heard this as well, like picking up plasma or life force. There's this feeling of like it in part to sustain itself, but also in part to help us, like the connectivity with surrounding energy and matter in our solar system. And you asked about the codes. It's really interesting. She's saying, no, there's not really a transmission of information or codes. She says 3i Atlas is the code itself. So in other words, the object entering our solar system alone, with its very mysterious, its mysterious makeup and its coma and its interactions and its changing in direction and all these things that are so awesome about 3i Atlas, there's also this acknowledgement that, and it might sometimes this feels a bit underwhelming as a human to hear this, right? It's just our souls choose lifetimes. Your soul is chosen to incarnate in this lifetime, and your soul had awareness of events happening, and the events don't have a fixed timeline, because really linear time, it doesn't exist for our souls, and linear time isn't real either. So there's this understanding that your soul has, is that if you have chosen to awaken, your heart to open up and to awaken out of this kind of sleeping state, sleep to many of the challenges that the world is experiencing at this time, like this constant propagation of fear against us and control, is that 3i Atlas is here to be that event. It's like, so what I love is that by this, Marita's saying, she's just laughing at me. Because like when she's speaking, literally I hear like, and she loves this bit where she's like digging in with her, I call them claws, into the detail. And she said, if you're aware of 3i Atlas, like that's it. You just need awareness of it. And I feel that in my heart immediately, just in the upper heart. If you just have awareness, full stop, that is the trigger for your awakening. And you may feel in your mind, you're like, I want to know all the answers. Like, tell me, what is it? Where's it from? Is it a ship? Is it a rock? Is it some sort of, giant ball of ice? Like, what is it? And, we heard before that the aspects of 3i Atlas are, your experience of it are also intertwined. They're coupled with your personal frequency. So if you have a fearful emotional state, low vibrational state, you're much more likely to see the denser aspects of 3i Atlas. And then the higher vibration, the happy, joyful, gratitude, you're much more likely to see the ship aspect of 3i Atlas, which I love. It feels a bit like a hologram, and you get these little holograms and you kind of start to move around, and depending on your position, you see different things, different aspects. And that's very much how 3i Atlas is. So in summary, it's here to help awaken hearts. If you have an awareness of 3i Atlas, it means, first of all, your soul has probably had some awareness that there's an opportunity to awaken, and you may have been choosing an awakening experience. Everyone awakens at different times, at different speeds, and in different ways. Just the reason I keep talking about open hearts is that seems to be, in my experience, after, I do one-to-one sessions, about 6 6 a day, sorry, 6 a day, not 6 a day, 6 a week, plus 5 hours of live streams, helping people on their awakening journeys. And those that are kind of fully immersed in their awakenings are really much more connected with their heart, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. And often a lot of these questions I get are from your minds, which is also cool, right? This is a heart and mind symbiosis, a partnership. And so we're helping come out of the mind and into the heart as well. So whenever you're listening to my videos or anyone else's videos or anyone else that's sharing information, place your hand on your heart. Just hold your hand on your heart for as long as it feels comfortable throughout the video. It brings your conscious awareness into your heart and it helps you discern, the feeling of it. Ask your heart, how does that feel? Does 3i Atlas feel like a ship to me? How does it feel? There's no right or wrong. There's just to feelings, right? They're simply your feelings. Wonderful. Does this mean I have to hold my hand on my heart for the rest of the video, Marita? She says yes. She's laughing and saying, it's easy for you, you've got a hand. She says, if she does it, she's like this. or that. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's do at least one more question. And thank you so much for posting these questions. There's a link in the top of the description. And often I remember to post the link into the comments as well. Okay. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. This is from Mira 1890, and it says, "Hello, John. I've heard you mention that you have solar panels." I do. Yes, I have. I can't remember how many kilowatts it is. It's quite a lot. It's a lot for a small or average size house. And I have a battery as well. A 6 kilowatt hour battery. I've heard you mention you have solar panels. I've had health issues in the past and have been told to be careful of EMFs, so electromagnetic frequencies. Is solar panel backup for the home a bad idea for someone like me? Thank you for all you do. Oh, thank you so much for your question. And I'm not sure if I was doing a good job in clearing up that last question. Let me just see if I did, because otherwise I'll be picking it again in the future. It was 3i Atlas, wasn't it? Yeah, I've answered that. That's good. Okay, so let's just ask my spirit guides about this as well. So my Lyran guide, a lion-like being from Lyra, his name is Emin-Shal, has come forwards. So the first thing he's saying, this is news to me. He's saying one thing to really focus on in particular is the inverter, so the converter between solar and voltage, which it depends on your solar system. The solar system. It can be anything from like 19 volts or something, or 24 volts. It just depends on the system, but it's converted into your local power system, such as, 110 volts in the US and 240 volts in the UK. He's saying that the inverter itself and the battery system, if you buy one, that the electromagnetic frequency will vary. So the radiant frequency around it will vary depending on its load. That is total news to me, right? I did not know that. It's something I'd love to measure myself. Now I'm pretty sure, because I was thinking trying this myself as well, was you can get a free app on your phone, because our phones kind of just come with like loads of extra stuff built in. And some people use like EMF detectors, detecting apps on your phone for like ghost investigations. So, but you can also use it for like detecting, frequencies around. I don't know if it's available on every single phone. You might have to look it up and try it. But you can check for resonant EMF frequencies. So that's one thing to check. Michelle's also saying it totally depends on also the manufacturer, the shielding that they have, the device. So there's different standards in different countries for EMF shielding, and then also he's talking about like the grounding, like the requirements for grounding and any leakage. So radiant leakage, and then leakage back through the grid, back through grounding. And so he says, he's suggesting that you ask, for instance, if you are interested in getting a system, talk to the installer and get them, they'll probably do this, right? Get them to take you to another installation they've done, and either buy an EMF reader, an EMF detector yourself, or if you feel happy with using something like your phone, use that, and do your own measurements and get a feel for what it's like, and go at a time when there's lots of sun, when it's likely to be most active. And the inverters, the way the inverter works, basically you have the solar panels on your roof, the inverter in the middle, and the way our inverter works is that it either takes battery power into it, or it takes mains power, or it takes solar power. And so it's always like deciding, it spreads the load between the three and optimizes for solar and battery power over grid. And then when it runs out of solar and battery, it uses the grid. And also overnight. So this is the other thing Michelle's saying, okay. He said, yeah, there's times, for example, you may find it, why is this, Michelle? Why is it better to charge at night? He says, when you charge a batch system at night, what happens is there's a much cleaner, so the grid, so the local electricity supply that comes into your home, it has a much cleaner supply. There's much less noise on the grid itself. And he said, so that actually creates less EMF interference coming from the device. Okay, that's news to me. I didn't know this. So for my solar panels, I have set, this is for financial reasons mainly, and then a little bit for like preparing for any 3 days of darkness, is right now, in the summer, I would get about 30 kilowatts of power a day, 30 kilowatt hours. And then right now, because there's much less sunshine, I get about 1 kilowatt hour for a day, which is really small, right? You could probably boil a kettle, a liter of water in a kettle 10 times, right? So it's not that much to run your house off. But you know what? When you've got no power and you can boil your kettle 10 times, suddenly it feels like luxury. So I was shown this practice of you setting up your system to charge the batteries overnight, because it means that rather than all the noise that happens during the day with everyone else using the load on the grid system, and your own solar panels having some light coming through even in the winter, was that it helps reduce this kind of, he's showing me like almost this like static resonance aspect, the noise levels of the EMF, the fluctuations of the EMF. I feel like I'm going to have to go and trial this myself, maybe even buy an EMF detector. I'd love to do a little video. I'm conscious I've not done a video on my solar install, and because it's really fascinating to me as a geek, and it's also really fascinating, for people that are interested in investing in them. Like, what do you expect? What's it like day to day? And in simple terms, the final thing that Emmett Michelle's saying, keep good distance. So he said the solar panels themselves, certainly when they're not, at night, where you're often up closer to them, right? Because you're up in bed. He said, I don't know what your individual room's like, but you'll get less EMF radiation. It says when under load, so during the day you're often downstairs, you're likely further away from your solar panels, and then really the biggest radiation comes from the inverter itself and the battery system. And just think about right sizing the batteries. I have we're a family of 3 plus Patch, or when our daughter's here, when she's not at university, family of 4 plus Patch. I mean, Patch doesn't use much electricity, right? My guess is we use about 15 kilowatt hours in a day, like around that. So if we generate 30, we give 15 back. We sell that back to the grid for pennies. And our battery does about 6 kilowatt hours. So we could install a second battery and it would likely cover us, all day. But they're quite expensive, about £3,000 or £4,000 for a battery. So I hope that helps you. Fascinating question. Well, we're up on an hour, and I did not expect to end us talking in this chat with solar panels, but it's really interesting. Thank you so much for coming along to today's session. Some really powerful messages, and for all humanity. And it does feel that it's an honor to, just reflecting on this today. In my lifetime, I've seen the internet birthed. I've worked, in the computing industry for 26 years, including AI up until May last year, and at Amazon, and that was incredible to witness the birth of AI. And now we're in the times of change with truths being revealed, and this is all huge, right? These are huge changes in the planet. So please do look after yourself. Please do drink plenty of water, get plenty of rest. My guide, especially Maya, keeps encouraging me to create space in my calendar. So not just have back-to-back client sessions, which I typically do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, balance things out, spread things out, even including the creation of these videos. So today I'm just doing this, and then I'm on a live stream. I'm on a live stream with the wonderful Chloe Rose at Mystic Hearts. She's Chloe the Elven Mage, on at 4:30 UK time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. So please do come along and say hello. We'll be doing readings, clearings, healings, predictions for people. Come along and ask a question about what's coming up. So that's today, November the 21st. And then I've got the rest of the weekend off. I'm going to do some DIY, some upgrades to my motorhome. So please do take good care of yourself. Keep close to your loved ones. Be gentle with your heart, and be conscious of these changes that are happening in the collective. And come back to that practice of your heart. Stepping out the collective and coming gently back into it. It's okay to look after yourself and fill your cup first. Okay, so I'd like to thank our guides, our higher selves, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source, and Gaia, and every soul that's participated in today's session. And I'd like us all to step outside of the shared session space and remain in our individual protective bubbles as I close the shared space down and return to Source. Whenever I return here again, please do look after yourselves, everyone. I love you so much. And I also have a prize giveaway for a quantum psychic healing session, which is the draw is today at 4 p.m. UK time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Is that 11 a.m. Eastern time. So you can go to jonbinnie.com/giveaway, and there you just need to sign up for the 14-day Spirit Guide Meditation Challenge for free, and then enter your details and you'll enter the giveaway. Loads of you have entered so far. Thank you. And as a result, we're well over 1,000 people now in the 14-day Spirit Guide Meditation Challenge. And that's all about supporting you for free on your awakening journey to really help you get started and also to help you get a feel for what it's like working with me. And if you want to go ahead and move on to my other services, such as the free 5D Ascension classes, or book a session with me, or multiple sessions. There are packages for multiple sessions, including three for the price of two. That's right, 3 for the price of 2. I always say it the wrong way around. Right, I'm done. Thank you so much. Take care. Sending love.